Hello everybody, myself Prashant Mukhopadhyay, faculty member, Electrical Engineering Department, Greater Kolkata College of Engineering and Management. In the last class of our electric machine 2, so we have discussed actually the voltage regulations and different indirect methods we have talked about. One of the indirect method, that is the EMF method or synchronous impedance method, we have discussed, and how the voltage regulations by synchronous impedance method was uh, say done. So we discuss everything, particularly this voltage regulation. Basically, in this EMF method, we are say calculating the synchronous impedance, and and due to after calculating the synchronous impedance, we can jolly well found the voltage regulation, that is the change in the no load to rated voltage with respect to the rated voltage has been calculated. So basically, this change is nothing but it is the synchronous impedance drop. So the calculation of this synchronous impedance drop was the say factor for this EMF methods, and that's why it is called say synchronous impedance method. Basically, here the synchronous impedance, actually the component actually synchronous reactance, as well as say armature reaction drop, synchronous reactance drop, and say armature reactance drop. Okay, so these two say armature leakage reactance and armature reactance, this combining is these two is known as the synchronous reactance. And by this, the beauty is that to calculate this synchronous reactance is the key point for calculating the voltage regulation by EMF method. And that since this synchronous reactance or synchronous impedance is the deciding factor for calculating this voltage regulation, so that's why this method also known as synchronous impedance method. And we also discussed that this method is say pessimistic method, because it is far away from the realistic value what we can get by direct loading or any other methods. So that's why it is a pessimistic methods. And what are the assumptions we have made? So particularly we have taken the saturation, say non-saturated portions or linear portions of the magnetization curve for calculating this synchronous reactance. So these assumptions also we have discussed. So today our topic of discussion is MMF method, or of voltage regulations, which is also known as the ampere turn method. And the synchronous impedance method is based on the concept of replacing the effect of armature reaction by an imaginary reactance, and the magnetomotive force, say by an imaginary reactance, the magnetomotive force. And the MMF method replaces the effect of armature leakage reactance by an equivalent additional armature reaction MMF, so that this MMF may be combined with the armature reaction MMF. Okay, so that means once again I'm telling, in this method actually say armature leakage reactance is being replaced by an MMF, and equivalent additional armature reaction MMF. So this MMF may be combined with the armature reaction MMF, and that's why it is known as the MMF method. So to calculate the voltage regulation by MMF method, the following information is required. So there are like this resistance of the stator winding per phase, that is armature resistance, open circuit characteristics at synchronous speed, and short circuit characteristics, the same as before. How to draw the phasor diagram of the MMF method? Though the phasor diagram at lagging power factor is shown here. So basically, the armature terminal voltage per phase V is taken as the reference phasor along OA, and the armature current phasor IA, which is drawn lagging the phasor voltage, basically V by alpha, this phi, by the lagging power factor angle. So this is phi. So actually phi is the angle between V and this IA, and the armature for actually this armature current phasor IA is drawn lagging the phasor voltage for lagging power factor angle phi, for which the regulation is to be calculated, and the armature resistance drop IARA is done in phase with IA, that is IARA is in phase with IA, along with say along with line this AC is the representing the IARA drop. So joining this O and C will this OC will represent the EMF E dash. Okay, that is actually this EMF E dash. Now considering open circuit characteristics, this is shown here. This is open circuit characteristics, and at field current IF dash corresponding to the voltage is E dash. Okay, so this is actually E dash corresponding to this open circuit characteristics of the field current IF dash. The field current IF dash leading the voltage E dash by 90 degree here. Okay, this is IF dash. So this is leading E dash by 90 degree. So this is actually 90 degree. So we have drawn. Okay. It is assumed that on a short circuit all the excitation is opposed by the MMF of armature reaction. So IF dash should be IF dash 90 degree minus alpha. So this angle of IF dash should be actually with respect to this V. Actually, this will be this is 90 degree. This is alpha. So it is in the leading angle is 90 degree minus alpha. Okay, this is the angle between V and IF dash. Clear? Now, so from the short circuit characteristics, determine the field current IF2 required to circulate the rated current on short circuit. So this is actually IF2. So calculate the rated current. This is the rated current. On the short circuit characteristics is this to get this rated current, this field excitation should be IF2. Okay. Now, actually, so this is the field current required to overcome the synchronous reactance drop IAXA. So this field current is required to this synchronous reactance drop IA. XA. Okay, so now what we are getting this IF2 should be equal to actually 180 degree minus phi. If we see here this phasor diagram, this is IF2, and this actually with respect to this reference phasor V, it will be how much? So it will be actually this is actually 180 degree minus this phi. Okay, this is 180 degree minus phi. That is shown here. So determine this phasor sum of the field currents IF dash and IF2. So this gives the resultant field current IF. Okay, so IF2 and IF. So if we this IF2 and IF dash. So this dispatcher sum will give you the required field current IF. Okay, so actually this required field current IF, which is actually generate a voltage E0 under no load conditions of the alternator. So basically this is the E0 under no load conditions voltage, that is E0. So the open circuit EMF E0 corresponding to the field current IF. So basically IF is found from the open circuit characteristics. So this is actually E0 corresponding to the field current IF is found. Okay, so basically actually this will be like this IF is found from the open circuit characteristics. So the regulations of the alternator is found from the relations. So this is shown here, that is E0 minus V by V into 100%. So this is actually the MMF method. Clear? What is the basic difference? Actually, the difference is in EMF methods, all the drop is calculated on the EMF drop, and here all these drop are being converted into ampere turns. So there is MMF. So that's why this is called MMF methods. And in this method, the voltage regulation is better than the previous one, that is EMF method. So that's why since so there is no questions of considering only the linear part of the saturation. So it is taken care of the nonlinearity part also, saturation portion also. So that's why this is the better method, and this is called optimistic method. And the realistic value of the voltage regulation is much nearer in this method. So it is much nearer getting better voltage regulation value in case of real case. So that's why this method is called optimistic method. So in this actually method, we have learned what is and in which way the EMF are being converted into ampere turns or MMF, and giving us the better result for voltage regulation, and that is ampere turn or MMF method. Okay, so once again I am telling you these methods also require these three tests. Basically DC resistance test, open circuit test, and short circuit characteristics tests. And from this we have drawn the phasor diagram of the voltage regulation, giving the rated voltage V way as the reference phasor, and OB is the armature current is lagging behind this reference voltage or rated voltage by the angle phi, and the IARA drop is in line with in phase with this armature current. And this so after adding this voltage and IARA, will get the E dash, and for corresponding E dash the current is field current required is IF dash. Okay, and so to get the actually to get this so this is actually 90-degree movement from this and this required, this field current is required to overcome the synchronous reactance of IAXA. So that is nothing but this IF2. IF2 is required to short circuit from this can be obtained from the short circuit test. So determine the field current IF2 required to run, and by calculating phasor sums of this IF dash and IF2 will give you the field current required for say voltage, generated voltage, and say E0, and this EMF E0 corresponding to the field current IF is found from the open circuit characteristics, and the regulations of the alternators is found from the relations. So this is E0 minus V by V into 100%. So we are getting all this in terms of ampere turn, and that's why it is called MMF method or ampere turn method. Okay. Now we'll discuss a Portier triangle or zero power factor method. Portier triangle basically determines the voltage regulations of the machines. This method depends on the separations of the leakage reactance of armature and their effects. The graph of the Portier triangle is drawn below. The triangle formed by the vertices A, B, C is known as the Portier triangle. Basically, this ABC is the Portier triangle. So, if you go through this, actually, how you will construct this Portier triangle on zero power factor characteristics, and what are the assumptions for the Portier triangle. Now, consider a point B on the zero power factor curve corresponding to terminal voltage B and a field current OM, that is equal to IF equal to, this is the field MMF by the number of field turns, FF by TF. So actually actually for these conditions, see here, this is the point B on ZPF. You know, ZPF means zero power factor characteristics. So basically, the motor, actual synchronous machine is run in such a way so that zero power factor load is being say given to act for to draw this zero power factor characteristics curve. So basically, this B corresponds to the zero power factor on the zero power factor curve is the rated terminal voltage V. Basically, this is the rated terminal voltage corresponding to zero power factor characteristics curve. This B is the depends the rated terminal voltage, and the field current OM. This is a OM. This is the field current requiring this rated voltage. OM, this is equal to FF by TF. Okay, and if IF for this condition of operation, the armature reaction MMF has a value expressed in equivalent field current will be given as LM. Actually, this is LM, armature reaction current. Okay, this is LM here. So that is equal to IAR, that is equal to say armature reaction MMF divided by field number of field turn. So then the equivalent field current of the resultant MMF would be represented by OL. So this is actually equivalent resultant field current, actually the IR. Okay, so see, IR equal to this OL equal to FR by TF. So FR is the resultant MMF divided by the field current. So and corresponding to this this OL actually, so this is actually this resultant field current. And corresponding to this the generated voltage EG field for this OL, the resultant generated voltage EG, that is equal to LC. This is OL, okay, and this is equal to LC. This is the generated voltage, which is the C is on the OCC curve. So this is actually excitation voltage or generated voltage at no load. Okay, so from the no load saturation curve, and since this lagging zero power factor operation, the generated voltage should be equal to EG equal to V plus IAXAL. So this EG equal to V plus IAXAL. So this actually, this is V. So automatically this should be this AC should be equal to IAXAL. Okay, that is equal to EG minus V. So AXL equal to how much? So AXL equal to this voltage AC per phase divided by let's say rated armature current IA. So this is EG minus V, that is equal to AC. that is equal to AC divided by this IA, so we will give you this XAL. So then the equivalent of for zero perfect operation with rated current at any other terminal voltage such as V2, so this is zero perfect for this voltage E2. How will you get? So basically to get this armature current is of the same value, so both IA and XL voltage and the armature MMF must be of the same value. Therefore, for all conditions of operations with rated armature current at zero lagging power factor, the ported triangle must be located between terminal voltage V, a point on ZPFC, and the corresponding EG point on the OCC. So basically, any voltage, so this will be any, this is on the terminal voltage of ZPC, and this is on the EG on the OCC. Okay, so now if the Fourier triangle CAB, if the Fourier triangle CAB actually here it is. So therefore voltage and the Fourier triangle must be located between the terminal voltage B at a point on the ZPFC and the corresponding EZ point on the OCC. If the Fourier triangle CAB is moved downward so that the side AB is kept horizontal and B is kept on the ZPFC. So if we move this Fourier triangle horizontally, this keeping this horizontal, and this point B along this ZPFC, then the new positions of the B will be here at E at the corresponding voltage V2. Okay, this will be like this. That is so that the point C will move on the OCC. When the point B reaches the point E, the Fourier triangle CAB will move on the position FDE. See, actually, if this is moving in this way, so point C will move on here on OCC. So as a result, this FD is the new Fourier triangle corresponding to this voltage V2, and the corresponding say generated voltage will be EG2. Okay, so so FD is the new Fourier triangle corresponding to this voltage, and this location of the location of the point F on the OCC will determine the voltage EG2, and when the point B reaches the point B prime, the Fourier triangle will be in the position C prime, A prime, B prime. Here it is. So see, this is like this. So this B, when it reaches here, so Fourier triangle will be this. C dash, A dash, B dash. Okay. Now, so this is the limiting positions which correspond to the short circuit conditions because the terminal voltage is 0 at the point B dash. As you know, at short circuit condition terminal voltage is 0, and at the point B dash the terminal voltage is 0. And that is the limiting positions of the say ZPFC, and this is the limiting positions of the Fourier triangle. And the initial part of the OCC is almost linear. So another triangle OC dash B dash is formed by the OCC. So if this part is almost linear, so this is another triangle OC dash B dash. Okay, so it is another triangle, and this the hypotenuse of the Fourier triangle and the base line represent this. Actually, hypotenuse is C dash B dash, and the line baseline is this OB dash, isn't it? This is actually, and this is actually this. So this is actually the another triangle OC dash B dash is formed. Okay. A similar triangle such as CKB can construct from the Fourier triangle in any other locations by drawing a line KC parallel to OC dash. Similar triangle CKB by this CK parallel to OC dash, if we say draw. So this is another triangle similar to this, so can be done. So CKB. Okay, so basically what we are finding here, so this is and from the portrait triangle in any other location by drawing the line KC parallel to OC dash. So what are the steps for construction of the portrait triangle on ZPFC? So take a point B on the ZPFC, preferably well upon the knee of the curve, that is shown. Draw BK equal to B dash O. So B dash O is the point for 0 voltage full load current, and OB dash is the short circuit excitation FSC. And through K, draw KC parallel to OC dash to meet OCC in C, and drop perpendicular CA on the BK. Then to scale CA is the leakage reactance of IAXL, and AB is the armature reaction FAR, or the field current IFAR, equivalent to armature reaction at rated current. So the effect of field leakage flux in combination with the armature leakage flux gives rise to equivalent leakage reactance XP, known as the Portier reactance, and it is greater than the armature leakage reactance. So Portier leakage reactance, Portier reactance XP to voltage of per phase is equal to AC, and ZPF rated armature current per phase, that is IM. So for cylindrical rotor machine, the Portier triangle reactance XP is approximately equal to leakage reactance XA. In salient pole machines, XP may be as large as 3 times the XAM. So what are the assumptions made for the Portier triangle? The assumptions are armature resistance is neglected, open circuit characteristic is taken on no load, accurately presents the relation between MMF and voltage on the load, and the leakage reactance voltage IAXL is independent of the excitations. So the armature reaction MMF is constant, and it is not necessary to plot the entire ZPFC for determining XL and FA. Only 2 points B and B dash are sufficient. Point B corresponding to a field current which gives the rated terminal voltage, while the ZPF load is adjusted to draw rated current. And point B dash corresponds to the short circuit condition, that is B equal to 0 on the machines. Thus OB dash is the field current required to circulate the short circuit current equal to the rated current. So from here we are finding this. Actually this is a point, it is the say field current required for the short circuit condition, that is point B equal to 0 here in this position. And B dash B is the point required for the rated voltage, and from this, so from B we draw a horizontal line, parallel line. So and from this cut this actually OB, okay, equal to BK. And from K, draw a line parallel to this air gap line which cut this C, okay, at say OCC. So this you will get this triangle KCB. From point C, drop a perpendicular line on BK. This AC will give you the IAXL, okay, and basically this AB will equal to the armature reaction MMF for the field current required. And this is the drop, okay, and from these 2 points you will generally find out the ZPFC characteristics Portier triangle, which is nothing but this say CAB. And if you move along this ZPFC, keeping this AB parallel with the horizontal line, so ZP, you will for a corresponding for a rated voltage B2, you will get this FD is the new ZPF Portier triangle, and F is the say corresponding generated voltage EG2. So in this way, when B comes to this point B dash, so this is the limiting positions where or short circuit conditions, okay, and in this way you will jolly well draw the Portier triangle, and from this Portier triangle you will get the voltage regulation, that is this IAXL, and as well as this armature reaction say field current. Okay, so this is will take care of everything, and it is a very accurate method.